should be up. But why does it keep disabling the chat, though? I don't want the chat disabled. It's wild. Gino threw another pick?
No, they just had a 3 out. They're punting.
Made for kids.
I think I made Nick mad a little bit today.
Really?
Completely unintentionally, because like I wanted to clarify, because sometimes it's happened a few times where like I say something and then like he'll get like, okay, like he'll be like, and I'm like, no, but you're like, he was taking it the wrong way, because I think he was taking it like I was saying like what I was just kind of building on what Randy was saying about, and I'm not saying like in no way is the defense better without Tank and Micah, but I was just saying like you could see a scenario where like the run defense is a little better just because those guys don't have the freedom that those two have, where it's just like Golston and Wheat, like this is what you guys do, this is what you do. Don't do it. I don't want to see you doing anything else. You don't have the leeway to do anything else. You don't even get to make that kind of decision on should I go here or should I go there, like split decisions. You're in this gap, be in this gap. So
play within the scheme.
Yeah. Because they're not the same players, right? So, but I think he was taking it like, well, yeah, but you still want to have. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not saying you don't want to have Micah and Tank. It's just it'll be more true this week for sure. I think everyone would agree with. There's got to be something to it if the run defense is like it's been the last. If they hold the Lions under 100 yards rushing, then it would almost be like there's something going on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, if they hold the Lions less than 100, Jesus, man.
That'd be the last 3 weeks under 100.
Yeah, and this is a real one, and this is with backups to backups here on the edge. So, yeah.
Well, I don't think I made him mad, but he definitely didn't agree with my take, and maybe I didn't word it right about McCarthy.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes that happens with him, where you don't think he interprets it a different way, right?
Right, and like I'm saying, the win's a win. Like we need the win, however you get it. His play calling, man. Like, oh my gosh, Sunday night, I was so irritated. You got a 3rd and 1, just push it with Dak. Don't turn and hand it off to Zeke. Yeah, he got the first down, but barely.
I think there was a pitch at one point
honestly,
in time, right?
I didn't review that play. What's that?
I think there was a pitch to Zeke they ended up doing, right, in that 3rd and 1? It's like a toss.
I think so. And I think had that been reviewed, he may not have gotten it.
Yeah, he was close.
But, yeah. So I'm like, just some of his game management, and I was so irritated with him. And I like McCarthy. I think he's a good coach. You don't win 12 games in a row, 3 years in a row, and not be a good coach. But one of the things that my dad and I talked about was the first 15. Yeah, DK don't look happy at all.
DK's pissed.
Hey, CeeDee doesn't usually look that crazy.
But but you know what's funny about that, Champ? Like as you say that, last week we had a call with like I said, there's like 3 Steelers guys that I guess like cover the Steelers, similar to kind of like what some of the content creators for the Cowboys do. And someone asked the question, like all 3 of them were like, yeah, we're not big Tomlin fans. Like Tomlin, he struggles with in-game management. So it's like it was funny to hear other fans say that because McCarthy is always in it. Like I take it back. Any Cowboys coach is going to get dragged through the mud, like in the national media. Like we've heard it the last couple of years. Like he sucks at in-game management. And then you hear a guy that's been with the Steelers for 20 years now or whatever it is. And they're like, yeah, he sucks at in-game management too. So it's like, I think it
just comes with the territory.
Yeah, I believe every coach kind of struggles with in-game management for whatever reason. They make weird decisions. I don't know.
And maybe I don't. Yeah, maybe I don't watch enough other people to know that their coaches are making the same deals. Because I don't. Like I'll watch other games, but I don't focus on other teams the way people focus on the Cowboys.
100%.
I wish at the goal line they would just as soon as they got down to the 1, so that the game-winning touchdown, which ended up working out. My instant first thought was, okay, 4 QB sneaks.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just
Absolutely.
there's no way you're gonna stop all 4 of them. I don't care, and you're not really gonna take a big loss. Just do 4 QB sneaks, and I guarantee you get in.
Yep.
And
Or it would
so
have been
my
3 at
take
that point,
on
but yeah.
McCarthy, if we don't win that game, I think around the world, around the nation, people are agreeing, like, hey, this is Mike McCarthy cost them this, but and it was Dak jumping on that fumble away from us losing that game.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
How's everybody doing?
That saved Dak
Hey.
from getting under the
Hey,
fire.
Rob.
Jim.
I
What's
see
that?
the
That
hurricane.
saved Dak from getting fired too in that game. If they would have
Oh,
lost
yeah,
that fumble,
yeah.
they would have lost the game. It would have been McCarthy and Dak.
And his interceptions, yeah, absolutely.
Somebody needs to take the challenge flag out of Mike McCarthy's hands. Worst in the NFL.
I figured Rob would agree with me when I said something
Well,
about him.
I don't think he's won a challenge in like years. Number one.
No, he challenges the worst things.
Tomlin
can't
sucks at
blame
it too, though. I swear to God.
But I can't blame McCarthy because there's no way he's making that call. It's like
No, I completely agree.
so
Whoever is telling
fire
him
whoever-
needs to get fired.
yeah,
Yes.
whoever's telling him because that the one they challenged the other day was like, dude, we got HD TV now. We see everything. That was within 5 seconds. You knew, don't challenge that. Listen. He's
Yeah.
going to be fired. It's just the way it is. He doesn't bring anything to the table.
Well, that challenge cost us 3, potentially. So, because they didn't have that timeout. They needed one more timeout to get the ball back around the 50-yard line or so, their own 40. So, yeah, they had that timeout left that could have gotten a field goal, long field goal.
Well, I'm picking against them this week, Rob, again, because I'm sticking with what's been working, and I picked against them the last 2 weeks, and they've won. However,
this
Rob,
is not a game.
This will go a long way for McCarthy and the team if they somehow can win this one.
I
believe.
never pick against them, but
I had the last 2 weeks.
Realistically, these are the games they lose. Them not having Micah this week is really going to hurt them because Goff needs to be rattled, and the Cowboys play good against the Lions, but the games are always tight. And without having Micah, and now I hear Kendricks is banged up. I think they're going to give up some run, but what worries me is the play action pass. They're really good at it, and we're bad at it. So I don't know. CeeDee Lamb would have to have another game like he did last time. Dak would need to go off, and so far, they really haven't. Does anybody know if Guyton is playing?
Sounds like he's.
Everything sounds like he is. Yeah.
Sounds like he's supposed to be the way. It sounds like it wasn't as serious. Maybe it was a bone bruise, or I don't know. But it sounds like from the way they described it, sounds like he's going to be a go.
Because
I don't think he's missed any practice time this week.
I would like our chances if Smith was playing left tackle.
Because the five that we ended with were good.
Well, it's not even. Steele's not playing great, but you can't help them both.
Everyone
Right.
said they looked for whatever reason, for whatever this is worth, and this is like always go. I don't know if Dylan had gotten to look at it, but the guys that had gotten to look at the all-22, a lot of them said that Bass did not do it as good as it looked. They said Bass did not play as well as everyone thinks.
And that may be true, but the offense looked better.
Right.
And I truly believe that's Dak. Dak's clock speeds up when he doesn't trust his blind side. I don't blame him. And they just look better. And I'm sorry, you can't protect. Because what Hutchinson's going to do is he's going to go against Guyton. And then he'll swing over to Steele. At least you trust Smith better. You don't have to protect him as much. I know that last play that won the game would have not happened if Guyton was in the game.
No.
Because
not rolling out that way.
Well, it wouldn't happen
not rolling out that way and not having that much
sneaking
time.
Him.
Hey, somebody brought up something to me today, and I was thinking about it. They said, would you trade Micah Parsons for
Nope.
the defensive end for the Raiders? What's his name?
Max Crosby.
And I said, definitely I would.
Max Crosby and a second-round pick and a
No,
fifth-round pick, maybe.
straight up, I'd take Max Crosby over Micah
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
because Micah's going to want 35, 38 million. He ain't worth it. And not playing the way he's playing now and not playing the position he's playing. Now, if you tell me we're going to have Belichick next year and we're going to go to a 3-4, then I keep Micah. But if you tell me we're going to stick with a 4-3, I'd rather have Max Crosby.
I don't think it matters who coaches next year. I think any coach that has any kind of sense would have to look at it. I don't even think – I know you want him, but I don't even think it would matter if it was him. Any coach that comes in, the first question you have to ask is how can I maximize the best player, which is arguably Micah Parsons. You have to go to a 3-4. They'd be nuts to stay on.
Yeah, but it has to be somebody who specializes in that, you know.
Right, but there's more guys that play. I'm just saying if it isn't Belichick, I still wouldn't be surprised if someone was like, yeah, we're going to go to a 3-4. I don't think it's only Belichick that's going to do it.
They're wasting Micah at a 4-3. He's just not as effective as he's been. Like I said, he looks beat up already.
He's got 1 sack this year.
Yeah, Max Crosby. If you go to play a defensive end, Max Crosby is way better than Micah at defensive end.
What defense does Robert Saleh run? Is it a 3-4?
3-4.
Well, he ain't coming here. I don't see him coming here.
You don't see him.
If he can handle the bright lights of the Jets.
No.
Not even as a defensive coordinator.
Well,
I think if you wanted to expand it, I think if it's not Bill Belichick, and you hear Eagles fans talking about too, and I would be on it too. Would be like a Ben Johnson. If it wasn't Belichick, I'd be on a Ben Johnson from the Lions. I'd have to see, or who's the guy in Houston?
That's the one I like.
I forget.
I just saw his name and I can't think of it right now.
Him as well, but if it's
not going after Belichick, I just don't. To me, I just see him doing it. And it does make sense. I just see as long as Belichick brings in a young OC,
he has to. Otherwise, I'm completely out on it.
Yeah, and I
do not want to hear Josh McDaniels' name.
No. I don't think Belichick wants it either. I think Belichick would like to start fresh, but I just don't. I don't know. It's to me, you gotta run it 3-4. You just have to do it.
That's another one. That's another one I'd be open to. I know it's not Bill Belichick, Rob, but I'd be open to Mike Vrabel.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but to me, he's a poor man's Belichick.
Who is that running?
I'd rather get the real guy.
That's Debo.
All right, hell yeah, needed that for my bet. Perfect.
I'd be open to Vrabel.
No, I guess I wouldn't be against it, but I'd rather have Belichick. Belichick is.
Well, right. I'm saying like if Belichick just had said, if he says no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if we remove, obviously that would be Belichick with a innovative OC, plan A. But I'm saying if plan A is gone, who you get? Like I would say at that point, Vrabel. I'd be interested in Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, I wouldn't be against it. I mean, I don't know who in college, but I don't see him doing that. He doesn't do that. He likes to get it's weird. He likes to get these coaches that we never heard, like we never pictured being the head coach for the Cowboys. I mean, McCarthy was a little different. Obviously, we knew who he was, but he doesn't really. It's like he doesn't put stock into coaching.
Dang it,
I think he thought that Kellen was going to be the next boy wonder kind of OC in the NFL, but that didn't work out. I think he wanted a experienced coach now who's been there. As far as the head coach goes, it's not really working out. I mean, I'm not going to take it away from McCarthy though, because he's been good for the most part, minus some clock management stuff, challenge stuff. He, for 3 years, he's a pretty good coach. This year,
which they all suck at. I don't care what anyone says.
Clock management and challenge, all that. Yeah, I agree.
I think Mike McCarthy has been a good coach, but this team needs a great coach. And Jerry is what, 81, 82 years old?
Might as well be at 150.
I think I think he understands.
He's going to live longer than I am.
He's got 4 years, 4 or 5 years in the sense of not only, his longevity. But
He could run for president right now.
You got Dak on a contract for 5 years now. This is it. You got 5 years to win a Super Bowl.
He's going to be on another 20 years. They got stem cells and all kinds. He's got all the crazy the access to all this stuff.
Listen, all of our presidents are 80+ years old these days, so more power to you, Jerry. He can run for president if you want.
Right? Hey, I was watching something. I don't know what the hell I was watching, but it was a Cowboys game from like '94, and you see Jerry running along the sideline, and I said that was the Jerry Jones I liked. He was younger. He was willing to take chances. Now he just hangs out, and unfortunately his son is running the ship. And
Can I tell you where I think things changed for Jerry's mindset? It was the Roy Williams trade where he gave up all that draft capital, because that set the Cowboys back for years and kind of almost, it didn't derail Romo's career, but I mean it forced him into 8-8 seasons for multiple years. And I think we haven't seen like a big trade since then. That was the last one.
I think he still wants to, Dylan, but I think that's my theory of building on that is the one that is it's always Steven in his ear saying, no, we can't be aggressive, Dad. No, Dad, Dad, put the phone. Nope, we can't do that, Dad.
Totally agree. I totally agree.
Dad, we got to think of long term here, Dad.
Yeah.
So here's my take on the trade deal. You know, I've always wondered if maybe other teams refuse to trade with the Cowboys because when he took the NFL by storm, when he first became an owner, traded Herschel Walker, basically rubbed that in everybody's face. Look at what I did. I made Minnesota look this bad by doing this. Nobody wants to get made to look like that anymore. Granted, there's not going to be a trade like that. So maybe teams are like, I don't want to trade against him. Oh, crap.
I don't think it's that. I think I just like, you've heard Steven. Their theory last year on the trade deadline was nobody called us.
I just think of the meme.
God dang it. Come on, man.
Good Lord.
I just think of the meme, the old guy, and he's talking to his grandkids. We used to do that. Well, Jerry Jones, we used to do trades in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Nah, not anymore.
49 is going to blow this team.
Come on, Seahawks.
Jerry just doesn't. He's comfortable.
Dang it.
That's all. He don't want to. That's why they haven't won in 30 years. They don't use free agency like everybody else. You know, we forget that there was no salary cap back then. That's why Jerry was so successful.
Well, that's what happens when you have Stephen Jones,
yeah,
who's a bar.
Can I tell you? You know what's funny?
Stephen Jones' friend who's a bartender running our cap.
Yeah.
Jerry Jones was like the one who was gung-ho about instituting a salary cap in the NFL. He was like the man behind it. Do you think he regrets that now?
Yes.
Well, I think no,
maybe in one sense, but
it had to be something about money on the field. Yeah. It had to be something about money.
Yeah. In the other sense, it probably benefited in both ways, right?
Yeah, it definitely benefited him financially.
Yeah, I agree.
But he used, once the salary cap came, we were doomed.
You can't explain away them being 25th. I know I said that in the last call, but it still boggles my mind being 25th in the league in spending when Romo wasn't being owed that much. Dylan, as you point out, look at it too, and then they had Dak on a rookie deal. I don't understand how you were 25th in spending. As soon as whatever game you want to point to that year, as soon as you realize, let's just say the Pittsburgh game for the heck of it. As soon as you realize you had them rolling, you need to be on the phones every single. Can we upgrade here? Can we upgrade there? Like, what do you guys? We need to get this position. Like, you needed to go. Like, again, go for it. They just
that's just it. Yeah.
Rid of Dak. Everybody was talking about, maybe we should get rid of Dak and draft somebody. I said, absolutely not. I don't trust this front office to build around a young quarterback with not getting paid, because he showed he won't do it. So I'd rather have a proven commodity in Dak. I mean, he's got his flaws and he's up and down, but at least he could win me games like he did the other night. But no, they don't build around this team. It's like what Jerry's gonna, free agency. Not free agent. We could make some moves in a couple of weeks. He's not gonna make any moves because he's gonna turn around and say, well, Micah will be back. We got Bland back. DeMarcus Lawrence is coming back. And meanwhile, they didn't play good when they were healthy.
That $23 million that we have right now that everyone talks about, Rob, it's already spent. That's what they'll tell you. That's already spent. We don't have that money, and $100 million they have next year, it's already spent. We don't have that money.
Well, I don't want to make any trades unless this team shows in the coming weeks that they can be competitive.
I don't want to make any trades. I don't want to make any trades. Period.
Here's the thing though. If they come out, if they somehow beat the Lions and the 49ers, at that point, I'm like, get on the phones, gung ho, go crazy. At that point, I know they won't, but that I would want to do that. At this point, I don't want to trade for anything until this team shows they can be competitive with the big dogs. Otherwise, you're just wasting draft capital that you desperately need.
Well, what about if you were going to give up a 5th-round pick for Amari Cooper?
They won't do it.
Well, here's the question though about Amari Cooper. They have to pay him next year, and this is legitimate.
You rent them.
I'm not giving up a 5th-round pick for a 1-season guy.
Why?
For a rental.
A rental for $600,000?
But it's a 5th-round pick. Look at how good your 5th-round picks have been. I mean, I want my picks. This team has a lot of holes, man. I'm not renting a guy for 1 year.
And I don't think they'll do it regardless. It's not even if it wasn't the off-field thing. I just don't think they're going to do business. I don't think those two parties are going to do business in any kind of way.
I don't believe this team has a lot of holes. This team doesn't have a lot of holes. It needs a defensive tackle, and it needs another pass rusher. But your secondary is set.
Well, it does need another pass rusher once Micah gets back because there's really only one.
No, you need another.
That's what I'm saying. You need another one outside of Micah when he comes back.
You could use another safety.
No, I'd rather see what Wanye Thomas could do. They were talking today on the radio that Cowboys may be interested in Buda Baker or something, and I'm like, they're not going to do that. So they don't have a lot of holes.
But that's my point though, Rob. I mean, they've got issues that the team needs to fix, like more than just a trade. They need to make several trades, which isn't going to happen. So they need their picks.
That's why they got to use free agency because this draft shit doesn't work.
They could fix this team in 1 year between the draft and the free agency if they chose to participate in free agency. I mean, this team, you pick up what do you need? Receiver, DT, running back. You pick up a running back in the draft.
The draft stuff only can work. It can work if you're a team that makes decisions on guys early and you trade guys. This is like the stock market. You drafted Bland low. You need to sell him high. But they don't do that either. They wait until they have they want. I guess they want to.
What's the deal with Bland's contract? What does he got left?
It's next year, I think.
It's
right?
30 years, so
yeah. Basically, a good team would extend him now.
Yeah, but I wouldn't extend him yet. He's got to prove himself more. As good as he got a lot of interception, but then he got burned a lot.
So did Diggs.
I know, but what I'm saying is I already paid Diggs.
So Bland is a free agent in 2026.
I don't need two $20 million cornerbacks. I do not need that.
They're going to pay him. Watch. But what I'm telling you, Rob, is the draft stuff can work. Is if after last year. The middle of last year, at the trade deadline last year, I would have traded him.
Who did you say they're going to pay?
They're going to pay Bland.
I don't think so.
I'd pay Bland. I'd give him the Diggs contract. Same thing.
Pay Bland.
Diggs' contract is great.
Afford to give him that contract.
Yes.
He would have
Diggs'
to have
contract is team friendly.
Bland would have to have a really good rest of the year, and then next year he'd have to be really good. If he's not, they're not going to give him a Diggs contract.
I bet you they do.
So most years under Diggs' new contract, he's less than 8%, 7% of the cap. He only has guaranteed money through 2024. All of his guarantees run out, if I'm reading this right, next year, 2025. So, I mean, you can move on whenever you want to.
If Dylan is his agent, Dylan is saying my guy has the second most picks in the league behind the other guy on your team.
And I'm sorry, Rob. I know.
Top 10 money.
Well, I guess not, Rob. Maybe both of you. I don't know if both of you want to get rid of Bland or not. I'm not getting rid of Bland.
No, I don't want to. I think they're going to pay him.
I just don't think they'll pay him.
Well, then you're going to get rid of him.
I'm saying if you wanted to be a true draft and develop team, is my only point. If you really don't want to be a team in free agency, then fine. I'm cool. Then I'm cool with that, Dylan. If you tell me if you were the Jerry Jones, Dylan, you said, look, we're just never going to be players in free agency, then I would say, okay, well, can we restock? Can we have more ammo? Can we when we have a surplus in a position, let's move that position at a high price. I think in the middle of last year, when his price was the highest, I bet you could have got a second and a fifth round for Bland.
But you had Super Bowl aspirations last year though, and no Trayvon Diggs.
Right,
There's no way they're going to trade him.
I understand, but you can't play. But that's what I'm saying though. You can't play both those lanes, Dylan.
See, I disagree. I disagree with that part. I feel like then
you got to be a player in free agency.
And they can be, but they choose not to be.
But they don't. But that's what I'm saying. I'm coming from a place of they're not going to do this. You have to figure out a different way if we're not going to do this. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't want. That's not my preferred way. I'm telling. They're telling us what they want to do.
Besides Herschel Walker, the last time the Cowboys got rid of a good player in his prime because they didn't want to pay him, it doesn't happen. So I just don't see them. If they're going to pay Micah between 35 and 40 million, they're not going to pay Bland 25 million. I just don't see it.
He's not. That's not. He wouldn't be making that though.
Well, Diggs is at 20, right? So you're talking 2 years from now, it's going to be over 25 million for the top corner.
Diggs' cap numbers starting in 2025. When did he sign his contract? When was the first year of his new deal, of his extension deal?
It's gonna be 1 year from now, by the way.
I just don't. If you're paying Mike at 35, 40, I don't see them.
Do you think his agent's gonna tell him to not hold out next year unless he gets a deal?
See, you can do this. You can set up Bland's contract to start those cap hits to come in after Dak's cap hits expire, after CeeDee's cap hits expire. Now you're going to extend CeeDee, obviously, is the plan, and same thing with Micah. You might not extend Dak, but you can work these contracts out so the bulk of these cap charges don't hit until you have the money freed up. So like if they want to keep Bland and participate in free agency, they can do that. If they choose not to participate in free agency, that's on them, but you can do that. You can do both. Like it's not one or the other. And I know they tell you that it is. I know they tell you that it is, but it doesn't have to be.
I know.
And I'm signing Bland. 100%. I'm signing Bland. I'm signing Bland as soon as I can.
I have to see more from Bland. I do.
I don't. I'm good. I'm good at this.
This team doesn't need two.
Brother, we went through 1,000 years with no cornerbacks. Pay whatever you want at cornerback, for the love of God.
If I'm Deron Bland, Dylan, I'm holding out after this year.
Give me a better pass rush, and I won't need great cornerbacks. This team needs a better pass rush.
Well, get great cornerbacks and get the right safeties in the game, and maybe your pass rush gets better.
No.
Speaking of pass rush,
in today's NFL, it's very hard to do that because of the penalties. To me, it's all about affecting the quarterback. If you don't affect the quarterback, you can't win in this league.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with that.
So to me,
so speaking of pass rush, what do we do next year for our defensive line? Because all we got is Mozzie.
You got to
all these old guys coming back.
We're
probably losing Osa.
You run a 3. Well, if you run a 3-4, you're okay with. This is why I've said doing a 3-4 switch would make sense right now if you think about the personnel on the team, because I don't think they want to pay Osa. That's the one I don't think they want to pay. And if you move to a 3-4, you don't have to pay Osa. You can move on from him because he is best in a 4-man line as a 3 technique. So that's not a problem. You can move on from him. You would need to draft some 5 technique defensive ends, but those guys aren't going to be high picks. They're going to be later, day 2, day 3, which you can find. They're not going to be big pass rushers.
In a 3-4, do you play Overshown on the other side?
I play
edge?
Overshown opposite side of.
I'd put Overshown in the middle. I think you need a mean nasty boy, 2 nasty boys in the middle. And I
think Maris is that guy. Overshown is such an athlete, Dylan, and don't forget he did that at Texas, by the way. He actually was more of a pass rusher coming into the league than Micah was.
Yeah, I know he has the body of an edge, and he looks like he can play edge well. With looking at the linebackers as they have them right now, I would consider putting in the middle. If they're going to go to 3-4, I would draft a guy to play the middle is what I would do.
Okay, well, either you could do either or, but I think he'd be. He's a crazy enough athlete with his closing speed. I think he'd be fine.
Ideal
in either spot
is 250 pounds.
Yeah, you can be a little bit lighter though if you're in the 3-4 guys are a little bit lighter.
6 foot, 3.
Von Miller wasn't 250.
No, but he was close.
Yeah, 240. If you're 240 as a 3-4 defensive end, you're fine.
I think
TJ Watt's 245.
How big?
245.
Yeah, but he's 6'4". That's the thing. I mean,
He
I
makes him
think.
even skinnier.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is he's a big man. Overshown is not a big man.
Overshown's 6'4",
I know, but he's not a big guy. He's not thick.
230.
He's a lean 230. I just don't see him
What's
playing.
the typical 3-4 middle linebacker size?
I would love him in the middle where he could cover ground side to side. I think that's his best attribute is his.
Oh, no.
I think the 49ers just lost their running back.
Another one, huh?
It
But-
looks like a
But I
collarbone.
think, like, I guess, so we could debate that either way. You can draft a guy or you can play him. I think he'd be fine either
So
spot. But
this is saying the
I think-
ideal size for a middle linebacker in a 3-4 is 240 pounds. How big is he?
he's 6'4", 230.
Okay, so he's close. He could put on some
Yeah.
muscle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would love him in the middle.
I don't think you can go wrong either way. I think
I don't think
either way is good.
I think Kendricks is going to be back. I don't think
he is. Apparently, the same people, Rob, and again, this is above my head. I'm only regurgitating what's been said. But apparently, and I did see it in the Pittsburgh game. He had the really good first week of the season, but he really supposedly the last couple weeks, people are saying he hasn't been as physical. Doesn't like they were saying in the Pittsburgh game. There was that one run that early in the game. I don't know if you remember, Rob, where Fields did that quarterback design run. And it was Kendricks that got caught. Like they were saying, like he can see it, but he's starting to show that age where he's like he can see it, but he can't get there.
Yeah.
So
he's
been struggling the last. People have been saying overall, like he's another one where he hasn't played as well as everyone says. So I don't know if he's gonna be back. He's not gonna be back if Zimmer's not back.
There's going to be a whole new coaching staff. He ain't going to be back, and Lawrence won't be back either.
Nope. Again, if you go to that 3-4, that's why it also kind of makes sense, right? Because you could go cheap with the 5 techniques at defensive end. And
Would you trade for Max
Mozzie.
Crosby if they put him up for trade this year?
No.
Why? He's probably the second or third best defensive end in the league.
I wouldn't do it with that uncertainty of depending on is he going to play a 3-4?
Well, I think they play 3-4 now, but he could play anywhere. I mean, my feeling is he's got a contract that pays him about $25 million. I don't know. I don't know what the length is.
I would be shocked out of my mind if they didn't have the money to do a Derrick Henry deal, but they're gonna be like, oh yeah, we're gonna trade for Matt. I'll wear a dress. I'll wear a dress and take a picture on Twitter.
But if it came available, that's the kind of guy they need.
Sure, if it comes available, but they're not going to. But this is where I get cynical and say they're not going to do it. Even if he's available, they're not going to do it.
I mean,
they just don't.
I'd give up a first-round pick for him if he was available.
There's no chance of that. They just don't do it. Plus, the Raiders have to call us.
No.
We don't pick up the phone because Stephen Jones does not like losing deals, which is a problem.
Because that's what this team is missing. They're missing a defensive end that could get pressure. Besides Micah. Obviously, we know they're missing a nose tackle, nose guard, whatever defense you want to play. Linebackers, I think they got some good young linebackers.
Mozzie is the one guy that if you did switch to a 3-4 that would probably stay. I think you would get another big guy or a couple big guys, but
Mozzie,
like I said,
he's the number one.
Yeah. No. I'm not saying they're going to get rid of, but he could be whether he's a rotation or whatever. But I just think it just makes too much sense with their personnel, depending on who it is, to not morph this defense into a 3-4. Like this would be the year to do it.
The sad part is they should be doing it right now, because you're killing the only guy that could make a difference on defense to get to the quarterback, and that's Micah. I'm surprised Zimmer hasn't done it or doesn't do it. He knows how to coach it. This dude should be pulling out every stop because he's got not so many games left to save his job.
Well, if they're going to be multiple and even show that look, it's going to have to come after the bye week.
Because, I don't see Micah playing anyway until then.
Yeah, he's not. Everyone's asking. I doubt he plays this week at all.
No, has he practiced?
He's back. But he's on he's back and not walking out. But he, like I said, I don't even think it matters that he's back on the field, his helmet and all that stuff. It's a bye week. Why would you press it? I'm holding him out till San Francisco next week or 2 weeks.
Listen,
3 weeks, whatever it is.
If the doctor says, listen, you can't hurt it anymore, it's just a pain thing, then I could see him playing. If the doctor says you could make it worse, then I see him don't. But if it's just a pain thing, I could see Micah playing. Even if he only gives you so many snaps.
I could see him wanting to, but I can see the team saying, no, we're going to hold you out.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that. But if it's, like I said, a high ankle sprain, most of the time it's just a pain thing after a while. But I don't know. This is listen, I'm not giving up on this year because the NFC isn't stacked right now. Do I think we could beat the Lions? Yes. But we would have to play such a perfect game. I just don't see us doing it. We haven't done it.
To beat them, they got to get out. They got to get out fast. And Dylan, for the love of God, for the love of God, stop taking the ball first. For the love of God.
Gotta set the tone.
Yeah, well, set the tone by scoring a touchdown, not trotting out Brandon Aubrey. Who
set the tone by getting a defensive stop.
But knock it off. Like, I hate this, dude. Unless you can guarantee, I'm going to go full route. Let's be honest. Unless you can guarantee me a touchdown when you're taking the ball, I don't want it.
Well, last year, they almost did. Every time they took the ball last year, I think they scored a touchdown opening drive. So, but they don't have the same team.
Until the Green Bay game.
Yeah. So my thing is, I agree. But listen, they have no confidence in this defense. And it's been playing better.
They should.
Well,
I would take a shot. I'm taking a shot at it. I want that chance to double up at the half. I think that's too beneficial to have. I like to have that in the back pocket.
The only way they beat the Lions is they got to score at least 30, 31, 34. If they don't get a 3 in front of it, they're not going to win.
I agree.
I just hate it. I just hate it because if it puts you so far behind the 8 ball, if you don't get, even if you get a field, I hate getting a field goal. And if you don't score on that first possession, it's like, and then the other team does score, it's like, oh my God. You got to flip that somehow.
Getting the ball at halftime it's you can either put the game away, you can catch up. I mean, there's just so many things you can do versus, okay, you take the ball and like you have to score, otherwise you wasted it. Like you have to score. Otherwise, what was the point? Whereas if you get the ball back at halftime and you don't score, like you can still play the field position game and all that. Like it's fine. It is what it is. But like taking the ball first and not scoring just sets the tone in the wrong way. It's terrible.
Have Flournoy up this week?
I think so. I think they will. He was in last week. He was on the game-winning touchdown play. He just didn't.
He
get
was the ball.
up
last week, but he got them. Travis predicted 0 targets.
Yeah, I mean, and that just goes. And that's the thing. That means Dak goes, dude, I didn't work with you. I don't trust you.
I'd like to go look at him in the All-20. I have not had time this week. I'm so far behind with the hurricane and everything. I'd like to go look at the All-22 and see if he was open on any of his routes because he was in the game on the game-winning touchdown to Tolbert. I saw him running around.
I don't even think it's that, Rob. I just think it goes back to it took. Remember what it took for them to get. And I meant to mention that point to Nick, and he was like, "Yeah, I agree. It shouldn't take Brandon Cooks being injured to go, hey, smack him up in the head. We do have Turpin. He does play wide receiver. We can use him. Hey, Turpin." I told you, hey, he can run more routes than comebacks. Oh man, we should use him too. So to me, it was never a trust thing. It was they don't do well trying to get the ball to which he's done. He did better that game, but he doesn't call a game that distributes the ball.
It's not even just him. I remember when the Cowboys had this running back. I cannot think of his name when Romo was quarterback, and he was the quick little guy. And he always said they're going to get him the ball, and he's
Joseph Randall.
No. The hell was his name? What was it?
A choice? The Shard choice?
No. The only game I remember him really going off is when we were losing to the Giants, and Tony Romo marched the team down the field by hitting this guy with 3 passes, and then he hit Witten in the end zone to win the game. I cannot remember that running back.
My wallet?
Oh. But every year, That's what you heard in training camp, and that's what you would. Yep, they're going to get him going. No, they couldn't. They struggled trying to get this guy.
Oh, I know what it is, Rob.
Who?
Deuce Vaughn.
No, no. What the hell is Dylan? Dylan should look it up. I can't think of the name of the guy.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I was watching this football game, wasn't paying 100% attention.
I mean, to be fair, they kind of have said that with Deuce Vaughn for the last 2. No, yeah, we got to roll. No, you don't.
I think Deuce is not going to be loose. He's going to be.
He got the caboose.
I think he's
there you go, Rob. If you want to do that, yes, let's do that. We'll be a trade team. I will trade him to Kansas City because we thought Juju Smith-Schuster's career was dead, and he just catches the ball for 7 catches for 130 yards.
Listen, we don't throw to the backs. We just.
I know.
Well, we did last week. It worked really well.
Let me move Deuce Vaughn to Kansas City for a pick.
Hey, can I tell you the 2 biggest plays of the game last week? You know what they were? It was a touchdown pass to Rico. Maybe not the biggest, but some of the biggest. Touchdown pass to Rico. Heck of a route. Heck of a catch. And also the screen to Lipke that got them in the 5-yard line, 4-yard line to win the game. Get the ball in the hands of the running backs on some pass plays. I've been saying it. We've all been saying it for like 3 years since Pollard's bet was here.
They never drop back, like he never drops back and then looks and then just swings it out to anybody. He never does that.
It's always a check down for the running backs. Is typically what it is. It's like emergency situation. Here's the ball. It's never a design running back pass play. So I was surprised when Rico Dowdle caught that like corner route. He made a nice move on the DB too on that play. Knocked the DB right down his butt. And
that was a bad throw. He made a great play.
It was, yeah.
Nobody will believe it, but they really didn't even use Zeke that way. And I don't know if you guys remember, but when he had his pro day, Zeke, for all the crap people talk about, like he's only like he had his pro day. If you go back and watch it, they were raving like he ran routes like a wide receiver. And think about when he was here, they ran the ball, but they never really unlocked him in the passing game. And he's a really good catcher. They just didn't do it. Again, they just don't maximize a guy's ability.
On for?
What do you got? You got DoorDash coming in, Rob? You gonna eat some dinner?
My wife just cooked, so I'm gonna eat dinner and then I'll come back out.
I'm signing off at 10, so 10 o'clock my time, Eastern.
What are we having?
Today we're having pasta. So actually, I think my father made it. So some olive vodka sauce.
Nice.
My father's a really good cook. He just whips it up and pulls whatever is in the refrigerator. So, all right, I'll be right back.
All right. Kyle, did you get through the storm all right? Kyle?
Kyle, question mark?
All right. I guess he's here, so he's alive. That's good news.
Can I get a Seattle touchdown?
Guys, I'm here. Sorry about that.
Oh, you're good, bro. Did you get through the storm all right?
I'm at I'm at my brother's beach house. We went across the East Coast just because the storm is going to hit us in Sarasota, so we just want to play it safe.
Yeah, you guys ended up taking the brunt over on Longboat. That was
yeah. Oh, and Maria. That's pretty much all gone.
Yeah.
Sucks. But what are the main topics for tonight you're talking about?
Oh, we just chilling, man. We never come with topics. We just go wherever the conversation takes us up in here.
Yeah.
Cowboys Lions is what it's all about right now. So whatever you want to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, the one concern I have is just I think some of the deficiencies we have on the defensive line were kind of hidden because going up against Pittsburgh's offensive line last week. So now, a big upgrading class going up against Detroit, off a bye for them. So I think maybe some of that will get exposed that against Detroit's offensive line that we didn't see last week. But I think you're right. I think we need to really – it's going to be like an offensive game, so we need to – this is a game where we're going to need to score points. Like 20 points is not going to cut it like it was last week.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to – I don't think either team is really going to stop the other team very often. I think it's going to be a matter of who can kick less field goals, score more touchdowns, and who can – get some turnovers, force some turnovers on defense, get the ball back into the their offense's hands, and see if what they can do with extra possessions. Because I don't think either defense is going to do very well in this game, to be honest with you. I think the Cowboys might have unlocked something a little bit last week, kind of like they did last year, where everything starts to click. I think we might see that moving forward. You saw Dowdle running with a purpose against probably the best run defense he's going to play against this season. So that was very promising. I think you're going to see another level of this offense this week. So I'm excited about that. But defensively, I think they're going to take a step back. I think this rushing game is just insane. And I'm not going to fault them if they put up 150 on. I mean, it's tough. They're undermanned at this point. It is what it is. But it's going to be that much more on the offense and defensively to get those turnovers when you can. If a ball is in your vicinity as a DB and you can get your hands on it, it's got to be an interception and not a tip ball drill. Like, grab the ball. And if Bland comes back this week, limited snaps, as they're saying, maybe that'll prove to be true. Who knows? First things first, they got to stop the run game.
I hope Ray gets a pick against the team that drafted him.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
So if we can't get that pressure on the quarterback this week, you remember that Romo and Peyton Manning game in Denver?
Oh, yeah, that's what it's going to be.
51 something. I could see something like that.
In Dallas?
Yeah. Super high scoring.
What do y'all think about Zeke's, I guess, possible frustrations with not getting those short yardage carries? Do you think he gets more this week?
I don't know. I mean, what's the point of Lipke? I would rather give that to Lipke. Honestly, at this point, I think Lipke's got more juice in his legs, a little more burst. I don't know about the vision aspect of it.
Man, he really did miss that hole down there, though, because I didn't get to see it until I watched the end zone copy. And then my God, man. Oh. Just put your hand on Lipke's back. I
mean, that's what I talked about all this time about Rico's vision. He just has bad vision, but he had really good vision that entire game. I didn't watch the all-22, but I'm just watching it live, and I'm watching him see holes and plant a foot and cut out two holes outside, or he's at second level, sees a block develop, cuts outside or inside the block. Like, I saw that all night, so that was a nice change from what we saw from Rico all season long. But then you get on the goal line, and the man panics, I feel like, and decides to try to push it in there. Man, he had a wide open hole. It's a shame. Would have been a walk-in touchdown.
It was a great tackle, but that dude, what was his name? I forget his name now. He would have been just flying in the air. He wouldn't if he'd just gone to the right and fouled Lipke.
Even if Rico just planted his foot and just goes all the way right, like just swing it outside the tackle even. I mean, there was nothing there. They had that blocked perfectly.
I think one good thing for Dallas this week is that Detroit's game plan is going to be so obvious offensively. I mean, we know what they're going to try to do. We know they're going to try to run the ball early. We know they're going to try to set up play action. So, at least from a game planning standpoint, from Dallas on the defensive side of the ball, I think that kind of gives them an advantage. Like, okay, we know what they're going to try to do. We know what, the Saints were able to do it this year. Baltimore did the same thing. Detroit's going to come in and try to do that, especially after losing that game last year. So I think we just need to make sure our run defense stays shored up, and that's going to be the key to the game. Really, their offensive line versus our defensive line.
Man, he had DK Metcalf wide open for a touchdown there. Just couldn't put enough under the ball. Nobody even around him.
See, I think they're going to be. I don't know why, but I have a sneaky. I just think they're going to be better than we think against the run. I'm not saying they're going to be amazing, but I think they're better than we think. I think it's just going to come down to if you do get them in obvious passing downs, can you manufacture pressure on Jared Goff to force some of those bad throws like Dylan was talking about, and then be able to pick it off? That is still the question.
Because Jared Goff he's not a great quarterback. Like, he'll give the ball to you, but you got to pressure him, because if you don't pressure him, he'll sit back there all day and find the open receiver. Like, he's good in that aspect. But if you pressure him and you hit him, push him around a bit, he kind of falls apart.
And don't get it twisted. I agree as well, Kyle. Like, I don't think they, as much as we say it could be high scoring, I don't think they want it to be high scoring, because I don't think they are going to want to control the game. I don't think they want Goff to get into shootouts.
Right.
Even though I know he had that crazy game, what was that, like 5 years at this point, but he's not a, like, drive for drive. Like, that's not his forte. It's like you said, it's the play action and whatnot. I don't think they want to get into any shootouts with anybody.
Yeah, they don't want him throwing the ball 50 times a game. It's a recipe for disaster.
We match up pretty well with them in the secondary. I think we all agree right now the secondary is the strongest point of our defense. So I think you want to just keep it on the ground and try to just ground and pound us like the Saints did.
Yeah.
Best slot cornerback in the league.
the question's gonna be with their run game. Is it gonna be 250 yards or is it gonna be 120 yards? Because if they get 120 to 150 yards, I think that you can still win the game the way you want to win the game that way. If you're the Cowboys, if you're letting up 180, 200 yards rushing, I mean, you're gonna lose the game. So yeah, I think Detroit's going to want to run the ball a lot. The question is how successful are they going to be, I guess, running the ball? Because I think they're going to keep forcing it. You know what I mean?
I'll say it's less than 150. I'm going to say
Okay.
we surprise a little bit.
It's one of those things, right, where like you look at the paper matchup and it's like Dallas has sucked against the run, and Detroit is obviously really good with the run game, and it's like it should be completely lopsided. But it's one of those things where it's like I don't know. The NFL's weird, like Brian Broaddus always says. It's a strange lady.
Yep.
It doesn't always make sense.
Well, we can like, and the other thing I was just going to say this too is like we say, and I'm not saying this won't happen because it'll probably now that I'm saying probably the opposite will happen, but you gotta we always say it all the time, right? With other teams, when even we're facing a bad game, you say like, yeah, like because Lions fans are saying right now like, oh, they're facing like who's Chauncey Golston, who the hell is Tyrus Wheat, like, but you know that Chauncey Golston and Tyrus Wheat are saying like we're like they're playing for themselves too, like we're not scrubs, like we can play, like it's that's why you can't always completely discount like, oh, they're just gonna get run over because everyone thought that last week too.
That was you and who was it? The other Randy. You guys said that, right? That's what your comment was about. Was it about the backups playing more technically sound?
Yeah, because they just don't have they don't have the and like I said, I think Nick to Champ's point, I think he took that as me saying like I'm not saying the defense overall is better without Micah and Tank, but I do think that the run defense maybe is looking a little better because they don't have like neither Golston or Tyrus Wheat or even Lawson or KJ Henry that come in. They don't really have the gravitas or the ability to like make decisions on the. If he tells you to be in this gap, your ass better be in this gap. Like you can sort of allow like Micah to freelance and guess here and guess there, and yeah, he might get beat or he might make a play. Same thing with Tank. But if you're one of those guys, you just need to be where you're supposed to be.
Well, why do teams struggle against the run most of the time? What's the first reason? The first thing that the defensive line is doing poorly that's causing them to fail against the run?
Getting out of the gaps.
Exactly. That's exactly right. It's gap integrity, 100%. So when you have guys that are freelancing like Micah, who thinks they can make every play in the world, and he can make a lot of plays, and I would take Micah 10 times out of 10 over anybody else. But when you have those guys that can do that kind of stuff, they can struggle sometimes against the run because they're not technically sound. They're not playing with their proper technique, being where they're supposed to be at all times. You have these other guys who they don't have that freakish talent. The way they've had success throughout their career is being technically sound, being where the coach wants them to be. So
be where you're supposed to be.
I 100% agree with that comment, and I don't think Nick took it the wrong way. I just think it's tough to when you're the host and you're trying to listen and comment and all that stuff. I think he understands. I just think he's trying to think of things to say and come up with whatever. But I think your point is 100% correct.
Those guys have to play within the scheme. They have no choice.
Yeah,
that's one concern I have with Micah is that the coaches are harping on this, during the week of game planning and letting him know about gap integrity. I mean, he's been playing the game for a while now, and he's still kind of, not going against the coaches, but still making those same mistakes on a week-to-week basis. So that's my concern about him moving forward with giving him all this money. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? I
just don't understand the point in having him play 4-3 edge or end or whatever you want to call it at this point, because I think it's a blend. But 4-3 end, I don't get that at all times. Like they had him practicing stand-up linebacker in training camp. That was kind of the talk all offseason when he was going to play more stand-up linebacker. Where has that been?
And he moved around. And he moved around in week 1, and we were all excited about it. So that goes into the point of like, remember we were talking about this in the offseason, Dylan? Is he kind of saying,
oh my God, DK Metcalf. Catch. Holy crap, dude.
Great catch.
That guy is scary, bro. That guy is scary.
What a catch.
What?
Wow.
Oh, they're saying incomplete? No, he's saying throw the challenge flag. Both feet were down. He maintained possession. That's a catch. Unless something happened when he went to the ground. That looked like a catch to me.
Catch. 1.
Oh, his tippy toe.
Wow.
How does a ref see that, bro? That's insane.
He just got dead.
That's a bang play. Yeah, how do you catch that?
Sucks. I need that touchdown for my bets, bro. Come on, man. It sucks.
But yeah, I don't know. That's why, Dylan. I know this goes back to the we talked about this in the preseason or before the season started. Like, we saw a bunch of that moving around. So, and I know it's speculation, but like, is Micah saying, "Hey, I just want to," like, again, this goes back to the thing, and I know it can't be proven, but something changed because we haven't seen it since then. Why is he only playing at defensive end now?
If that's what he wants and he refuses to play anywhere else, then he can sit on the bench and I'll put him in on passing situations. And if he doesn't like it, he can pout. He can do whatever. If that's the case, like, I don't care, because he's not being productive outside of rushing the passer. So if that's all he wants to do, that's what he can do.
But that comes with that. That's where the rub comes in, right? Because I remember I was asking, like, are him and Zimmer going to have like the eventual fight of like, yeah, you can say that, but your ass ain't going to be here next year.
I feel like that's not happening. Just my guess. I don't know.
Probably
both of us
not.
are speculation.
But I'm just,
if that is
why?
happening,
Yeah.
I'm not paying him at that point. If that is the case.
Yeah.
I'm just not
It's
gonna
going
pay
to
him.
prolong his career. I mean, I'm sure that's a selling point from the coach's stand of view. Remember when Greg Ellis, when they were transitioning to a 3-4, and he's really hesitant to move to outside linebacker, and Parcells had to convince him, this is going to prolong your career by a few years. It's the same thing. It's like Parsons.
I think Micah would love the 3-4, and that's why I think no matter who comes in after this, if that's the case, like I said, I was telling Rob, you have to go. If you're a coach with any kind of smarts, you have to look at. He's a pass rusher. His best asset, as Dylan was saying, is getting off the bat. Like, how do I maximize that? It's get him out of a 4-point stance, get him on his feet, and let him be an athlete on the edge, or even a little farther off the ball, being in a 3-4, and let him be the athlete. It would be the dumbest thing ever for a new coach to come in here and have the secondary you have and not go, what's going to unlock him to the next level? And it has to be a 3-4.
I'm just
100%.
thinking, like, okay, so you want to rush the passer and get sacks, right? So we got to get to passing situations to let you really unleash that pass rush potential, right? Let's go play you at linebacker so you can flow to the ball with Overshown on the second level. That would be phenomenal. And let's get to certain guaranteed passing situations, passing downs, and then you can go rush the passer. Like, I don't get how that's not utilized more often.
Right.
I just don't get
and
it.
you know what?
You're going
To
to
your
nickel
point.
anyway.
Yeah, to your point, now that's what I'm saying. Like, this is going to be a real interesting week, Dylan, where I was actually going to say less than 120. Imagine, and I think before everyone got out, like I was saying, imagine if they hold the lines to less than 100 yards. You would have to look at that and go, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Yeah, what's changed?
How are we holding a team that we know everyone knows universally for a fact in the NFL is a dominant run first team, and I have Chauncey Golston, Tyrus Wheat, KJ Henry, and Carl Lawson holding their gaps and playing gap sound, and we stop the run, but when you guys are in, we're getting gashed for 200. Something doesn't make sense here.
Well, I do
and if
think
that's the case, then your ass needs to go back to linebacker, like you just said, Dylan. And I'm going to use these guys to stop the run, and then you can come in and take Carl Lawson's spot or KJ Henry's spot and rush the passer.
Yeah, I think the longer these guys play, these like backup to backup guys, the longer they play, the more they'll get exposed, and eventually there's going to be diminishing returns. But I think in the short term, I think you're right. I think you're going to see more technically sound football. These guys are going to play better. But I'm curious, and to be fair, you did play obviously a Mike Shanahan tree with the Saints, and then you played maybe one of the best, if not the best, rushing attack in the NFL between Lamar and Derrick Henry. So, okay, I wonder how that would have looked with the guys that are in right now, if it would have looked better or the same. Because you haven't played a rushing attack like that until this coming week.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, though. We're going to find out. Because, like I said, if they hold them to less than 100 yards, what are you going to do? You're going to be going, wow. Like, I did not have that in my bingo card. Like, what's happening?
I think you got to keep these guys going.
22 so bad if that happens.
You have to keep these guys going for as long as you can, and then when Parsons comes back, he's gonna have to play linebacker. I mean, I don't know how else you could. What else? It's just like when Dak played for Romo. Like, you couldn't take Dak out because he was balling out. Like, if these guys are doing so much better against the run, how do you remove them from the field at that point?
I mean, it's safe to say that Lawrence isn't going to be coming back next year, so that's a lot of money not tied up into a defensive end if you stick in a 4-3. So, I mean, Sam Williams is going to come back probably as that other outside linebacker if they decide to go that
I
route.
forgot about
And
Sam.
and then they don't have a
Yep.
lot of money allocated to defensive tackle either. I mean, Osa
Osa's
might
not
get a
gonna
new
come back.
contract.
Yeah.
You could ask Mozzie to put on 15 pounds, get to 350, and then there's your nose tackle right there, and then you could draft somebody else. But I mean, Golston and guys like that, they could put on a few more pounds and they could slide into,
Golston could be a 5 tech.
yeah, absolutely. So there you go, and you're all set up.
So I don't know. Maybe you might hop in here after that. That's what we were talking about. Like, I just think if you're going to transition for a year, then go to a 3-4. This off season would be the off season to do it. Because like I said, to your point, you can let D-Law go. You don't have to pay Osa. You can get another big boy or a couple big boys in the middle, and you can find 5 technique defensive ends later in the draft too. So I don't think it'd be that hard of a transition. And I even forgot, Bill. We forgot about Sam Williams.
I always
Yeah,
forget about Sam.
he could play on the edge in a stand-up.
And you're pretty deep at linebacker now too, so you have your 2 inside guys, whether it's Luafau or obviously
Overshown.
Yeah, Overshown. There you go. You're set up right there. So
You can
I
draft
thought
a
that
guy
when
too.
Parcells had to go from the when he convinced Zimmer to run a 3-4 going into the 05 season, that was a tough transition. They had to hit on a bunch of draft picks, which they did. But obviously, they got Ware, Spears, and Burnett, guys like that. But you kind of have the dogs. You just need to kind of get a few more people, and you should be all set up.
With Kendricks gone, do you think Clark plays better in a 3-4 in the middle of the field? No. So I draft. I agree. So I draft a guy. You can draft a guy 3rd, 4th round and go play middle linebacker in a 3-4. So
I just don't. I know. I was shocked by him in preseason and training camp, and I think that's more of a training camp, like he was having a good trend. But I'm not surprised by him not getting a snap. I just think the post neck surgery he had, he's not a physical enough player for me in the middle anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that's his fault. It's just I don't think he's willing to stick in it. Rightly, we saw it with LVE, rightfully so. Like I probably wouldn't want to be sticking my nose in there either if I had a neck surgery. He's one bad hit away from being LVE.
Yeah.
So
and you can't play like that as a linebacker. You're gonna get hurt. So.
Yeah. I understand it. It sucks because he's like, you can't, like you said, you can't play to not play physical in that position.
Right.
It's car wrecks every single play.
If you're Peyton Manning, you get neck fusion. You're not going to be ducking down that much, hitting somebody head on with your neck. So
yeah, you got to be doing what you got to be doing what Overshown and Luafau do, and I don't think I've seen pre-neck injury. If you watch his LSU stuff, yes, he was physical like Merritt. Post, I haven't seen him be. I haven't seen flashes of him from like what Overshown and Maris are putting on tape.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, I think this is going to be his last year here.
Hey, I'm back in talking, I guess, mode. I was with a friend, so I didn't want to actually chat over it. I was like, I'll just watch the chat and let people speak. Anyway, so going back to what you're talking about with Micah and Tank, I think so they'll obviously let Micah come back, but I think they're going to let the Tank, assuming that Chauncey and them and Tyros and all them, don't completely fail in the next few weeks. I think they're going to let Lawrence ride that out as much as possible, even potentially to the playoffs, and kind of change his role up a bit if it's working better. Because that's the one that makes the most sense. You're not going to have him next year. He's not doing as well as, he's an older guy now at this point. So that's the one that makes sense, and it doesn't cause a big drama like Micah would. So that's what I think.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to the offensive side of the ball, I mean, I think we saw some good stuff with TJ Bass coming in and Tyler Smith. What do you think they do on the offensive line? Do you think they make any changes with Guyton since he's so raw? Maybe you're not going to bench Steele, but do you think it would hurt his confidence to have Guyton as a swing guy? Keeping Tyler at left tackle and Bass at left guard. You don't think they would do that?
I think Guyton's gonna play.
Yeah.
Me too. And I don't. It's not that I don't like it, but I hate that they just don't. They refuse to have Tyler Smith play left tackle. I don't know why.
Well,
He want to pay him like one.
He may, because they're gonna in my opinion, they're gonna let Guyton play. But I very easily could see a scenario where if they let him start and he is struggling or laboring or it all doesn't look right to them, then they're going to have that same backup plan of Bass and Smith. I'm like almost 1,000% sure in case.
I just if they were serious about the season, I think they would make that move, but I just feel like they're all in on the development of Tyler Guyton. It's another Mozzie situation where it's
How
like,
dare you, Dylan?
it's another Mozzie situation where it's like, this is our first round pick. We already dedicated a first round pick to this guy, so that's some serious resources. Let's let him develop and play and get better. And for Mozzie, it might be coming to fruition finally. So good news there. So maybe they're right for doing this with Guyton. I just feel like at the moment, if you were serious, I'd be okay with taking out Steele for Guyton, let him develop as a right tackle. Maybe that'll be his natural position. Put Tyler Smith at left tackle, Bass at guard. You can draft a left tackle next year if you want to, or sign whatever you got to do. But I feel like that would be the best rotation because I think it was pointed out earlier, you can't help two guys every play. So if Guyton and Steele are struggling, first off, you're risking Dak's health because it's his blind side. He might get destroyed. So is that worth it? And second off, you're just not going to be productive. You can't help two guys every play. So who's it going to be?
Yeah, and I think you're going to see Bass potentially take over for Zach Martin next year anyway. So
I agree. Yeah.
Figure work on the development of Guyton this year. But yeah, I'm with you. This year, it's probably best to have Guyton on the bench. He needs a year in the weight room for sure. He doesn't even look like a tackle to me. He looks like an oversized tight end. He needs to put on some weight.
Yeah.
So I think he'll only get better.
It's a big, tall guy, big monster.
Hey, whose choice is it to not have Smith play tackle? Is that an organization or is it him?
No, Tyler Smith has said he would prefer not to, but he'll do whatever the team needs him to do. So Tyler Smith is willing to play left tackle.
So I've kind of wondered if part of the deal with not the organization not wanting to put him out there is they're going to have to pay him big left tackle money in a couple years.
Yes, I was thinking that. Yeah,
it's a good point.
And they don't want to do that.
It's a good point.
Well, I don't think it matters because whether like guards are. That used to be like 10 years ago, and I know we're saying it's a very valid point, but like guards have really, Dylan could back me up, they have really jumped up. Like he's going to get like top 3 guard money or reset to market guard money, which is going to be, basically what I'm saying, it's going to be a lot either way.
I'm going to look it up. So,
it ain't cheap.
Chris Lindstrom, he's the highest paid right guard in the NFL. Let's look up. I'm assuming left guard, right guard is the same thing. Okay, left guard for whatever reason is $84 million. Maybe they haven't come up yet. But right guard, $102 million. All right, that's the market for right guards. Left tackle obviously is going to be higher than that. Let's see. 117. 117
what's the
million.
yearly average?
I don't know. I have to look up the OTC is not very friendly with this.
We should just sign Nate Livingston and Mackenzie Bernardo.
All right, here you go. So PFN, Pro Football Network, has it. So highest paid NFL guard would be Landon Dickerson, $21 million annual. So $21 million annual. Let's see, tackle. Top NFL. 28.12. So it's a pretty big difference actually there. It's about $8 million a year difference.
Almost 30% increase.
Yeah, about that. So you got a point there. I could see that. Always planning for the future, right? Never for right now, it seems to be.
Bass is going to have to compete with Nathan Thomas next year.
I think they like Bass.
I think they like Bass too, but I'm kind of intrigued by Nathan Thomas. Gives me He gives me he's got an ass vibes.
He's got an ass. I kind of feel bad for Hoffman out of all this because he's done everything right. He's good. He's just not as good.
He's what he is. He's going to be a really good backup center.
Yep.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yep. He's got an ass.
I think this, going back to the Detroit game, this is the game where Dak and CeeDee really have to get that connection going. I think him missing off training camp really hindered their start to the season. So if you're gonna get going, I mean, that Detroit secondary can definitely be had. So if they hold up protection wise, this is the game where I think you see CeeDee go off.
If I'm them, I'm trying to get CeeDee. I know we talk about the slot all the time, but I'm the guy that because I've watched a couple more Lions games just because, like I said, this week is more personal for me being from Michigan. The guy that struggled on their team the most, that has been real, he's sort of been the Tyler Guyton of their secondary, been real grabby, got a lot of holding calls, a lot of pass interferences. Terrion Arnold, the guy that we almost could have drafted, that we traded away on the draft day. He had I don't know if you guys watched the last game. Was it Monday night? He had
against Seattle.
He had 5 penalties, holdings.
Mm.
So so he's sort of in the same Guyton thing where he's not really trusting his technique, because you think, oh, Terrion Arnold, he's playing really well because he's first round draft pick or whatever. He was struggling in the game that I watched, and it was that game, and even the game before that, it was the Rams game that I watched. Now that I remember it, he was struggling in that game too. He's been real grabby, impatient, bad with his technique. So I'm trying to get CeeDee on zero.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think this might be a game. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna talk about the CeeDee stuff. Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Oh, just that Detroit's linebackers are pretty solid. They have Anzalone and Jack Campbell, so maybe this is a quieter game from Ferguson. So I think that's where you're gonna have to depend more on Lamb and Tolbert, guys like that.
Yeah, there's success to be had in the secondary. I'm curious to see. You know how Travis likes to say this too, and he's right. They find success and they stop doing what works. Like with Turpin they got him the ball 5-6 times last week. This could be a week where he gets 0 or 1, just because that's kind of the history of what they do. They find something that works and they stop doing it. So
he better not. I was just gonna say, Dylan. I was gonna give you a crazy prediction and say Turpin gets 100+ yards receiving.
That'd be great.
And then you say, yeah, and it probably will. It'll go another week where I'm like, seriously, how does he get 0 targets?
Yeah. Well, I'm just curious to see if they choose one guy like CeeDee Lamb to really get the matchups right and really focus on him offensively, or if they plan on spreading this thing out kind of like they did last week. Because last week was good. They had a lot of different guys with targets. Curious to see if Flournoy gets any action this week, if he's active. I'm assuming he will be. I thought that when they get in the red zone, I'm looking for Flournoy because he's a big body boy. He's a possession receiver. He's got great hands. I think he's got a role there, but I'd like to see it before I make a definitive judgment on that. I think
they had him in on that last play of the game before.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying when Tolbert caught the game-winning touchdown pass. I think I saw Flournoy in there. I want to say, right? Was it the last play of the game?
Yeah, after he got the ball shot and then he came back in.
Yeah.
Do you think? I don't want to jump the gun here, but I know Cooks is still a pretty good player. But do you think Cooks was kind of hindering the offense a little bit just because he might have not been 100% and you weren't able to get Turpin on the field as much?
I think it's tough to say.
I say yes.
I say no.
I don't think he fit the mold of what they wanted to do with him. And to be fair, I don't think that. So here's why I think the passing game was so successful with Turpin, with whoever last week. It's because they ran the ball well. And you could see, I didn't watch the All-22, but you could see multiple times where safety's down in the box, or they're putting 8 guys in the box. Now it's opening up lanes in the passing game. So you saw more passes downfield. I think Dak had 9 or 10 versus the previous week he had 4 passes past 10 yards. So you saw them have to scheme against their run because they're almost successful, and now you're opening things up downfield. I think that could have been a good game for Cooks if he was healthy. I think he could have been running posts, corners. I think they would have been open for him. But the previous weeks where they couldn't run and they needed him to run hitches and slants and these underneath concepts, that's just not his game, man. He's not that kind of receiver. So if that's what they're going to do, I think their current lineup is better. But if they can open things up and get him down the field open, I think he could still be a good receiver.
True. Yeah, that's a good point. And if
Yeah.
they continue, I think I talked about it last week, doing more running under center in 11 personnel, just kind of keep the defense guessing a little bit, less running out of the gun. I think that'll only help moving forward.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, I just don't think they used him. I don't think they used him correctly, to be honest with you, which is not shocking because that's a common theme that we say about the running backs. We say it about dude. You can only say it so many times before you start going. To, at least for me, it's more on the coaches than it is. I don't think Cooks is just falling off. Like I don't think guys just fall off like a cliff in 4 games. I just think he hasn't been used correctly.
He's faster than he is quick. And so when you see him coming out of these breaks and these routes, these comeback balls, he kind of lingers at the top of the route before coming back for the football, and that allows the defenders to get underneath of him. He's not quick like that.
And he's short. I don't want a short guy. I don't want a short guy.
He's not. He's skinny, so he can't box people out, right?
Yeah.
So you see more physical receivers.
Can we get Cooks on a shallow cross? Can we get Cooks on the dude? Run a single rub route for him. Watch him get the ball and run after the catch. Or that post that they threw that Dak threw the interception on. In that game, when you get a single high, if he had been in that game, Dylan, to your point, if they were in single high and he was singled up on the outside, I could have seen that game being a game where you just take a straight run a go ball and just take a shot that way.
Well, and we saw more mesh concepts this last game too, and it worked. Especially you saw on the last play was a mesh Kittle.
Damn it!
I took him out of my parlay. That sucks.
Damn it!
That mesh concept they ran, the crossing route where everybody got tangled up in the middle there on the last touchdown play of the game. Matt props to Tolbert, dude, for not doing the Schoonmaker. He did the Tolbert where he angled it back into the end zone instead of just running it straight after he kind of got cut off. He angled it back into the end zone, so when he caught it and got tackled, he was in the end zone. Whereas Schoonmaker obviously was a half yard short last year, and that's kind of same situation. But that's a young receiver who understands like what's going on. Like that's very impressive, extremely impressive.
Yeah, definitely.
And remember, we had questions about him. Like, I don't know, is he really coming? Like again, and then he has this game. It just goes to show you, like, and you're not wrong, Dylan. Like I'm sure it was part of the order, but I just don't think. Again, it's they smack their head and they're like, oh yeah, we have Tolbert. He can do more things. It's like they just like realize like he can do more than just this. Like he has more routes that he can run. And maybe if we run we run some interference for him and like you said a mesh concept, man, look at him hold that catch and he does the savvy vet thing. You know what we should do? We should probably give him some more targets. Genius.
Yeah. Genius. Well, and I know I haven't seen it probably because he hasn't gotten the targets. He's gotten a couple things here and there. So I'm curious if this is going to be more of a Michael Gallup, late career Michael Gallup thing where like he has a really good game, disappears for a couple games, comes back, has a really good game, or if it's going to be more consistent over the long run. Because before this game, obviously we haven't seen anything from him. He hasn't gotten the targets to prove himself or anything to this point. And I was ready to be like, listen, I want to see like Flournoy at number 3. I want to see Turpin at number 3. Like, give me somebody else because I just haven't seen it from Tolbert. But he showed up and he played well. So let's see what else
I think it comes down to the team because you heard him in the sound of the sidelines, and so far it's been to be fair to him, it's been true. Remember, I don't remember who I think it was Turpin. He was telling. He's like, I just need a chance, man. Because I think right now his confidence after that game is going to be so sky high.
Yep.
That I'm not gonna if they go away, if you come out of this game and you have 2 targets to Turpin and 3 targets to Tolbert, I'm gonna be like, what are we doing?
I'm okay with that if CeeDee has like 13 targets and like 11 receptions. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah,
I agree with your like if they completely go away from it, I'll be like that his confidence could not be higher right now.
Yep.
I'm trying to build that.
100%.
Yeah, I think Dak does best when he spreads the ball around a little bit more, as opposed to just focusing on Lamb. Obviously, Lamb's your best player, but I think early on in Dak's career, he did a really good job of spreading the ball around, having a balanced offense, kind of keep the defenses guessing. So the more these other guys can step up, I think it's only going to help Dak trust his receiving core a little bit more, and that'll help us moving forward.
You know what Dak had early in his career that helped?
A running game.
Yeah.
And not a
Speaking of the running
coincidence.
game, I don't know if anybody talked about this. I lost you guys for a little bit about 20 minutes ago, but what's going on with Cook, Dalvin Cook? Like, is he not what we were hoping?
I just
Does
don't think he's
anybody
any
know
good.
anything?
I don't think he's any good.
You just think
It's not.
he's done?
He's only. He was. I'm going to keep saying it because I believe it to be the case. He is only here for the oh crap moment of Rico getting hurt because he's had. I don't think he was ever
Nice
going
return.
to. Oh, look at Seahawks touchdown.
Oh,
I don't think he's
good.
ever going to get called up unless there is an injury. I think that was always the plan,
Okay.
in my opinion.
So I don't know.
So,
I don't
I
know.
love Zeke, but do you not think that he's a little bit better than Zeke? I mean,
Zeke has the best sponsor you could possibly have on this team.
yep.
I don't think
Jerry.
we have any idea if Dalvin Cook is better than Zeke or not from a fan's perspective. From a coach's perspective, I just don't. I don't think they think that he is better than Zeke. Otherwise, I think he would be up.
Rico's going to do Rico things, and if you ask Dak right now, candidly, in a room where no one's in there, who do you want in the backfield for you if it's 3rd and
No
15 pass blocking for you? He's going to say,
He's
I
gonna
want
say,
15,
yep.
I want 15 next to me.
But so you have Zeke, you have Daddle, you have Lipke. Like, what's the point of Cook? And it's almost
Yeah,
like, what's the point of Zeke really? Because you have a Rico who's, I think, RB1 now at this point. You have Lipke. You're going to obviously carry Zeke or Cook, one or the other on the roster, not both of them. But
I think he's going to have some productive games. I think he's still going to have. Cause
I think you'll see Zeke in
Yeah.
closing situations like we saw
Yeah.
against the Giants. And he played well
Yeah.
in that situation.
He had that
that's
nice
his role.
7er around the end of the game, but your left tackle had you holding.
Yeah. You should
I think-
see him on goal line situations too, but obviously we saw Rico for some reason.
Yeah,
Maybe it's just because Rico
Man.
had the hot hand. They kept him in.
that could be. But yeah, at the goal line, like you said, Dylan. I don't know if he's going to get, or maybe it was Nick that said that. He's like, well, I don't know if Rico's going to get another chance because they did it with Lipke. But man, can you I want the I-form. If you're going to do that, run in there. Yeah, give me the I-formation with Lipke and Zeke.
Just give
Good
me.
luck.
You're on the half-yard line. Just give me 3 quarterback sneaks, man.
I
Like,
said
what are we
it.
doing?
I was like 4. I was like from the 4
What are we
quarterback
doing?
sneaks. There's
You're not
no
going
way
to lose any yards, so
Dude,
like, come on.
You attach your hand to Cooper Beebe. There's no way you're getting stopped 4 times.
Yeah, that's just silliness.
No way.
I mean, Dak's a big dude. I've been perplexed as to why they never try to do the tush push with him. He's a big guy, and you get inside the 1 yard
Nobody
line.
can do the tush push except for
They-
Jalen Hurts and the Eagles for some reason.
They tried it a couple
Get it.
times. They have done it, but for whatever reason they haven't done good with it. But I mean, I don't call it tush. I'm not even gonna call it tush push because that's stupid. Just 4 QB sneaks.
Yeah,
There's no way
3.
he gets stopped on
3.
4 QB sneaks.
I thought they were going to
What's
give
up,
it to
people?
Lukey at the 1, but then hey, what's up? But then
There
I
you
had
go.
flashbacks to the Miami game. So
Well, guys, Davian, I know you just got here, and I know Rob just jumped back in, but I do have to dip out of here. So I'm going to go ahead and close up. Davian and Rob, anything you guys want to say since you guys just jumped in here, got back on?
Lance Dunbar. That was the guy I couldn't think of.
Lance
Lance Diggity
Dunbar.
Dunbar.
If I was
Lance-
listening to you, I would have said Lance Dunbar. I don't know. I was watching the game, so I wasn't 100% paying attention.
That was the guy that was going to be the Deuce Vaughn, everybody.
From North Texas.
He's the reason they won that Giants game when the lights went out in
Okay.
that stadium.
that was Romo's last comeback win. Yeah.
Yeah, Witten caught the touchdown.
That what an amazing game, jeez. Unreal. Davian, anything from you, sir?
Yeah, pretty much, man. I was.
Well, you
I
guys have a
see.
good
I see
night.
me and
Dylan,
Rob with.
stay safe out there. I think the worst is over.
Yeah, the storm's gone. We're good here.
I know it's suffering in Vegas. It's only 95 and sunny. So
It was 91 here.
I don't want to cut you guys off that just joined, but I haven't heard Michael from Colton call in a while. Anybody know anything about him? Make sure he's okay. You know.
He likes my
Not
tweets
sick
every
or
now and
anything?
then. He's around. I've seen him around.
Okay, good. I hadn't heard him call in for a while, and he was pretty good about being that first caller for so long. And I was thinking about him today. I thought, man, I hope everything's good.
Davian, were we talking before?
Yeah, I was gonna say that, man. I see Rob was agreeing with me about some things earlier. I
is
forgot
that
what
guy
it
in
was. It's been a-
California, right?
I don't think Rob. Hey, Rob. I don't think you can hear Davian, but Davian's saying something. I think Twitter
can't-
might be jacked up.
Oh yeah, I guess you can hear me. No, I was gonna say, man, go Cowboys. You saw what I posted. Hey, man,
Uh-huh.
stop the run the ball, get some turnovers because they're gonna be out there. If Jared Goff have any chance of throwing the ball to anybody, who's holding. But yeah, man, just good talk tonight. I hate I couldn't get on. I was watching doing QT with wife, but I was listening to it on my earpiece because I ain't want to miss out. So yeah, just let's go get them.
Yeah, well, I'll do some ad hoc
Yes,
stuff
sir.
here and there too. So I'll be around. Maybe get another one of these going sometime before next Thursday. We'll see what happens. But all right, y'all. Well, I appreciate you joining, and we'll catch you next time.
Everybody have a
Have
good
a good
night.
night, guys.
I mean, have a good one.
See ya.
Good night.
See ya.